Janet Metzger of the Network Marketer's Den. And in this week's episode, we are going to talk about how to build relationships and how to build rapport. You know, you hear it all the time. You have to have the relationship. Let's face it, people buy from those that they know, like, and trust. But I can't believe how many times I have been asked, well, I don't know how to build rapport. And first of all, I think people don't realize that they're building rapport all the time and that they do know how to do it. But you need to be very self-aware of what you're doing, especially when you're meeting someone for the very first time. So really, really important. And you want to start building that rapport right out of the gate, right out of the gate. You know, the last thing that anybody wants is they don't want a pushy salesperson. And oftentimes when someone comes across as a pushy salesperson, it's because they're doing a lot of the wrong things. And a big part of it is that they don't have any sort of a relationship. They've actually made the whole conversation about themselves rather than the other person. So again, right off the bat, the first thing you got to do is you just got to find something that you have in common with them. And the only way you're going to find out what they have in common is you're going to talk with them and you're going to listen and you're going to ask a lot of questions. So what are some common things? Well, if you think about your circle and people that you hang with, there's a good chance they mirror you. For example, if you're a mom, maybe you're in a mom's group, so you have that in common. You can talk about where you're from, what you do for a living. What do you like to do when you're not working? What do you like to do for fun? Those are all kinds of questions that you can ask, but other key is you've gotta listen. So look for those common grounds. I'll tell you, one of the questions I have found that over the many, many years I've been in this business, and honestly, this works for all businesses, that I have asked is, so are you originally from here? Where I live, nobody seems to be born here. I'm one of the few people, but so they'll say, oh no, I'm originally from here. This is my hometown. I hear that. And if they're from Wisconsin, I'll say, oh, I have a friend that's originally from there, or my husband's from that part of town. Sometimes I'll ask, so where did you, if they are local, so where did you go to school? So there's just those type of things. And that's just a natural conversation. And all of a sudden, you'll see that people's guards do go down. So those are just some easy questions that you can ask. And sometimes if you stop thinking of the person that you're dealing with as a prospect and just as somebody you're meeting and have a conversation, all of a sudden you'll find that the commonalities and the conversation flows that much easier. So again, you've got to ask questions and you've got to listen. Of course, you give people respect, and there's a lot of different things that go into that. Making people feel good about themselves, being on your best behavior. You don't know this person. You don't prejudge them. Don't say, oh, don't roll your eyes because somebody's not dressed to the nines. Oftentimes it wasn't a planned meeting. It doesn't matter what they look like, what they sound like. So stop prejudging and just give people respect. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I'm really cognizant of is people's time and respecting their time. So make sure that you start a meeting on time. Don't be late. You've heard it before. If you're on time, you're late. So get there 5 minutes early and be respectful of ending the meeting on time. I will often ask, hey, I know you're really busy. How much time do you have? Because I want to make sure that I'm respectful of their time. Because if I told them it's going to take 15, 20 minutes and I'm taking 45 minutes, you're not going to leave them with a good feeling. So respect their time also. People like hearing their name. They like hearing their name, and it will help you to remember it. So as you're having this conversation, not over the top 100 times during a conversation, but if, so Mary, tell me a little bit about yourself. And she talks for a few minutes and they go, wow, Mary, that is really cool. Just keep saying their name, not over and over and over. But if you say it 3 or 4 times during the course of it, it'll, number one, help you to remember it, and it'll make her feel good. People love hearing their name. Okay. So the other thing, and I know it sounds crazy and it's so simple, but so many people don't do it. They look like they've taken a bite out of a lemon. They don't smile. You're in the best profession there is, and it's fun. I mean, if you're crabby and you're not smiling and you're very serious, and not smiling at all, do you think people are going to want to sit down with you? Do you think they're going to want to listen? Do you think they're going to want to join your team? No. So make sure you're smiling, not force smiling, but just be yourself. That's all you have to do. If you get stuck, and you do, I guess after a while, this will become very natural for you if you're not feeling comfortable now. But think about it this way. Pretend that you are the prospect. How would you want to be treated? How would you want somebody to build rapport with? That's what you need to do. The building rapport, to me, if you, number one, are not practicing it on a daily basis every time you're having a conversation, that's something you should start doing. And you have to be mindful, though, of how much time you spend building rapport. There are people, that's when you learn those color personalities that don't want to have a lot of chit chat. So you've got to be able to get to that commonality really, really quickly. So I would challenge you to put some different questions together that you can pull out and learn about what you have in common with your potential prospect. But pretend you're the prospect. With what you are doing, what you are saying, the questions that you're asking, etc. How do you feel? How would you feel if you were on the other end of that conversation? If you don't feel like $1,000,000, you probably need to take a look and step back and say, how can I build rapport? Now, here's the great thing about building rapport. You get to practice it, and you don't have to practice it necessarily. Well, not at all. You don't have to practice it with a prospect. You can practice it in your day-to-day life. You can prospect it with family, with friends, somebody new you just met, through another person. If you went to a networking event, just practice it. And again, it doesn't have to be a big thing, but your goal is to get those walls down, And finally, you gotta stop being a hard sell. Stop being a hard sell. Your job is to offer and present. Their job is to decide. So, you've got to just ask those questions. I'm not sure if this is for you or not. What do you think? And if they say, no, I don't think it is. Okay, thank you. Don't go on and on and on and on, because rapport, as they say, you only have one time to make a first impression. But man, if you blow that rapport right off the bat, you don't have a chance. So don't be a hard salesperson. Your job is to offer. Their job is to decide. And if you remember, the most famous radio station in the world, you've heard it, WIFM, what's in it for me? WIIFM. That is how you need to think about it. If it's going to be in their best interest, make sure that you tell them it's good for them. Remind them what's in it for them. When somebody says, you should do this, you should join my company, if you say it that way, you're thinking about what's in it for you. You got to turn it around and share with them. You know why I thought that this might be a great opportunity for you because I built rapport and I know these things. You'd be able to take your kids to all the soccer games. You wouldn't have to be paying a babysitter all the time. You would be doing something for yourself. It's a chance to get out of the house. Again, what are the benefits for them? And it's not just a laundry list. After you have gotten to know them and you've built some rapport, then you'll be able to really determine what's in it for me. So it's the art of conversation, you guys. You got to be able to talk to people. You can't build rapport by instant messenger or anything like that. Yeah, you can get a start, but you still have to take it offline. You still have to have a conversation, whether it's by Zoom or whether it's on the phone, but you've got to have the conversation, and that's the best way you can build rapport. So this is Janet Metzger of the Network Marketer's Den, and here's to your success. And the easiest way to start that success is to build those relationships and build that rapport. Have a great one, everybody. And here's to you achieving all your goals and dreams.